A few weeks ago, I was asked about my thoughts on spanking kids. And at the time, I couldn't answer the question. Not because I was for or against it. I knew that giving a child a hiding is not something that I want to do or plan to do. But I couldn't articulate why that was. So I've been mulling it over. And there are quite a lot of reasons. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them in this particular video. Otherwise, it might end up going on and on and on forever. So what I'll stick to for now is my experience as a child. Because I had people in my life who did spank me and people in my life who didn't spank me. And my relationship towards those people was quite different. I perceived them quite differently. I had very different emotional responses to those people. So, when I got a hiding, it was something that I feared. So fear was in the mix, anxiety. And now these are memories that I obviously can remember. So I was already at a certain age where it could be argued that a child by that age should understand why they're getting a hiding. So I can't speak for the earlier memories. I don't remember those times. So fear, anger, resentment. I resented the person for doing that to me. Sometimes even hatred. And also there were moments where I had a kind of a rebellious response to it, where it's like, so what if you hit me? Whatever, I'm just going to carry on doing it because I can. So that kind of taunting response that I would have sometimes. And through all of these things, all that I recall that a hiding taught me was all of those emotions and attaching those emotions to whoever was giving me that hiding. And it also taught me to fear consequence, because I knew that if I would do something and get caught, I would get a hiding. So I would go and still do the thing within this experience of fear and anxiety of, if I get caught, I'll get a hiding. So I learned how to be sneaky. I learned how to hide things from the person I was fearing. And I learned how to lie to avoid getting a hiding. I learned how to do all of these things, all to avoid getting a hiding. And I also learned not to be honest with that person, because I knew that if I was, there would be punishment involved. Now, if I compare those experiences to someone in my life who did not give me hiding, someone in my life who would explain things to me, who would say, if I do this, then that will happen. And the thing that was being explained was a consequence. It wasn't, if I do this, then I'm going to get a hiding. It was, if you stick your finger in the plug hole, you will get electrocuted. Don't put your finger in there. And it doesn't really matter how many times people need to repeat things. What does matter is, who was that person when they were saying these things to me? Were they anxious? Were they angry? Were they fearful? No, it was just calm. This is how it is. And obviously, as a child, you test the limits. And there are things that you're going to do despite what someone tells you. And when I did those things, there still wouldn't be a hiding, but it would be, remember what I told you, if you do that, then this happens. This is what has happened now. Learn from it. Don't do it again. Also, the type of relationship and the type of perception I developed towards this person in my life was, I trusted them. They were the person I went to when I had questions. When I was unsure of something, I'd go to them. If I did something that I didn't know was good or bad or right or wrong, I'd ask for their perspective. And they would always be open and honest with me, just matter of fact, and share things as they are, not try and hide things from me, not try and manipulate me against doing things. It was just plain and simple. This is how it is. This is how that works. Oh, I don't know the answer to that. Let's find out. Whatever. That was the person I went to when I needed help. I didn't fear what they would do to me, because I knew that no matter what I did, they would support me to work through it and find a solution. And that was the person who, at that point in my life, I trusted the most. That was the person who, if they had told me to stop what I was doing, I would have stopped what I was doing, because I trusted their judgment, because they shared with me their reasonings and how they saw things and things like that. So that to me is the difference between real leadership and trying to enforce control on someone through manipulation, through punishment and negative reinforcement and things like, or rather negative punishment. I'm not actually sure of all of the the terminology around that, but those were my experiences. So I have that first-hand comparison to work with of the difference between people in my life treating me in one way and treating consequences in one way, and teaching me how to deal with things and what the world around me meant and how everything worked, versus someone who dealt with me in a completely different way. So that's the main reason why I won't give any child a hiding. I don't see the reason to do it. I don't see any good reason to do it. While the intentions behind many people doing it may be good, I don't see the outcome of it, the experience of the child, being beneficial in any way. Consequences can be taught in a different way. Trust can be developed in a different way. All of these things come with leadership. And yes, sometimes we have to make mistakes ourselves to learn lessons. Whether there is a hiding waiting for us at the end of it or not is not going to change the fact that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things that we shouldn't do, especially when we're kids, especially when we're pushing boundaries and testing limits and being a pain in the butt. The difference between a parent who's also a leader and a parent who is struggling to deal with their emotional responses to the child is, who are we within how we address the children? Who are we within how we respond to the children? Are we getting angry, frustrated? Are we scared, anxious? Do we do things out of frustration that we end up regretting later? Do we speak to the child with that anger? Do we lash out at them? Do we tell them to shut up? Or do we keep our cool and say, okay, I can see you're having a difficult time. I'm also having a difficult time, so let's figure something out, because neither of us are happy right now. Let's find a different way to be around each other in this moment. There is so much on this topic that I can't cover in this video. I have a number of friends who have a whole lot of materials specifically on parenting, specifically on how they deal with their kids in different situations. And it's some very, very good resources. It's some very good information there. And also I've got a lot of posts about training animals, which although it sounds maybe like not everyone would agree with that approach, but there's some principles in there that are as valuable with children as they are with animals. Things like not reacting emotionally, not treating them, or rather not interacting with them while in an emotional state that's going to spill over into that interaction, things like that. So there's a whole lot of material on similar topics or similar principles that you can look into if you're interested. Otherwise, if you have specific requests, let me know. I can elaborate on particular topics within this, but for now, this is just a general overview. Thank you very much for watching. You're going to see me next time.